Okay, so we are going to add and subtract some more rational expressions, and you might notice on this that we have the same denominator. So when that happens, that just means that you go ahead and add your numerators because we've got the common denominator. So on this, it's going to be 8 over 2xy to the fourth. And then, of course, 2 and 8 have a common factor of 2. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. So 4 over xy to the fourth. And we're finished. Always make sure that you check to see if you need to simplify. All right, I'm going to pause. Okay, so I got my blank page to go away, and now here we have a problem to work out. Okay, so we factor the denominators, and then you see that they each have an x minus 1. If we use the method I've been talking about, then I circle one of them, and I check on the other denominator, is there anything here that I didn't circle already? And there's a 7. All right, so my LCD is going to be 21 times x minus 1, right? Because I have to multiply the 3 and the 7 to get my LCD. Okay, so we're going to rewrite by multiplying by the missing factor. I often call that the missing part, but it's the missing factor. And so for the first question, the first expression, not question, we're going to multiply by 7 and 3 on the second expression. So my numerator is going to be 70 plus, let me just go ahead and write this out twice. So 70 over 21 times x minus 1 plus 3 for 21 times x minus 1, which is 73. And that's it. So 21 doesn't go into 73. I'm pretty sure 73 is a prime number, and we can't simplify this one any further. Okay. So let me factor. Now I can tell on this that the 25 minus x squared is going to be backward to what I need it to be. Okay, so I'm going to factor out a -1, and then I'll be able to factor that again. And this one is 3 times x minus 5. So let me write this out. This is going to be, now I'm going to apply my -1 to my numerator, right? If I divide x by -1, it's a negative x. And then factor the x squared minus 25 as a difference of squares. And then on the second, wait, let me scoot this over because we're going to be multiplying. On the second expression, I have 3 times x minus 5. So my LCD this time will be the x plus 5, x minus 5, and the 3. Right? So LCD is 3 times x plus 5 times x minus 5. And remember, the two binomials don't have to be in that order. So I multiply by the missing factor on the first one. That's going to be a 3, right? Because that's the only part that's missing. And then on the second one, it will be x plus 5. Okay. So I'm going to multiply and simplify what's in the numerators. On the first one, I'm going to have a -3x, and then that's going to be plus 2x plus 10, and all over my common denominator. And then we really just have one more step. This one is not going to simplify any further. That's -x plus 10 over 3 times x plus 5 and x minus 5. And that's it. Okay. You could factor -1 out, but it's not necessary. This won't simplify any further. You can always double check that when you work one of these out and be sure that you have completed the question. All right, I think this is our last example. Okay, so on the first expression, we can factor out 3. And on the second or the third one, we can factor out a 5. So hopefully that you realize from one of the previous examples we did that they all three have an x minus 2, but they're going to also need a 15, right? So my common denominator, least common denominator, will be 15 times x minus 2. All right. So let me rewrite this. I have a 5 over 3 times x minus 2. And then I'm going to write this as a plus and put my negative with the x so it doesn't get lost. And I'm putting that in parentheses because you know I'm going to be multiplying that by something. I'll go ahead and write that as 2x plus 3. Okay. So remember, we are trying to get this common denominator of 15 times x minus 2. So we're going to multiply each of our expressions by the missing factor. Okay, so on the first one, we're going to multiply by 5 over 5. And on the second one, we will multiply by 15 over 15. About lost my time sign there. And this one will be 3 over 3. Oh, I should put that in parentheses. Okay, so I have 25 minus 15x plus 6x plus 9. And then I'm just going to go to the side here. So negative 15x plus 6x will be a negative 9x. 25 plus 9 is 34. And those two terms do not have anything in common, right? Negative 9x and 34. And we just leave the denominator in factored form like I've shown you on previous questions. We just combine everything we can in the numerator to see if it will simplify from there. Okay, so that is the end of this lesson. And I'm going to stop the video.